Hello, hello, my amazing, beautiful listeners. How are you today? Thanks for joining me. Okay, really quickly, I have to tell you this story. So, I got a call from my client. She's one of my past clients who also took my dating after divorce course. And she called and was so excited to tell me about something that had just happened. Based on her level of excitement, I was thinking she was dating someone and really likes them. And so, I was anticipating her next words. And she totally took me off guard because she says, I just freaking dumped a guy and I feel amazing. And I was like, okay, that's not what I was expecting. Do tell. And she told me that she had been dating this guy for the last month. She said that he was super nice, treated her well, very considerate, communicated great, took things at her pace, and was really paying attention to her in a way that she had never been paid attention to before. But because she had taken my class and recognized red flags, she recognized love bombing and how he would agree with her about everything and not show any polarity. He was sending her memes and little quotes that you'd send someone when you were serious with them. He was texting her every morning and every night. And the biggest thing that she paid attention to was, even though that perhaps like on paper, he might have looked like the nicest guy in the world. And maybe she was reading too much into this like niceness, but the key was her body was telling her something was off. And even like there was this hidden darkness that she would never be able to articulate to somebody, but she just felt it. And she recognized that she would usually feel really bad because, again, on paper, he didn't have anything to warrant her cutting things off. But she decided to trust her gut. And so she kindly said, no, thank you, lose my number. And she felt so much relief after she did that. And she was so excited that she did something that she had never done before. Love herself fiercely enough to say no. So I know I told you this on our call, but again, awesome job trusting your gut. And I am so glad that you are having the dating experience that you want, which I will tell all of you, for her dating experience that she wanted to choose into was to be able to trust herself and have fun in the process. If you want to have experiences like this and learn how to trust yourself, learn how to trust your body, join my next Dating After Divorce workshop, which is June 8th through 10th, evening workshop. They're all recorded. You don't want to miss it. It is so much fun and so much information. The link to get your spot for that will be in the show notes. And just because you take this does not mean you have to start dating, but learning how you want to date and learning how you want to be healthy first before you date and what kind of experience you want, we want to choose that first, and that's the key. Okay, super awesome. And again, thank you, my dear client, for letting me share your story with women who I know are going to not only support you, but benefit from your experience. All right, so today is going to be a quick episode. I want to address a topic or maybe a thought that I hear a lot from women. He didn't choose me. He didn't fight for our family. This is a common thought that I myself have had, and so many women that I coach have had also, that are dealing with divorce after betrayal. And when they see their partner with someone else after divorce, it's adding that validation to this idea that they didn't want me, they didn't want our family, we weren't fighting for. And see, he was lying all along. And whatever other thought your brain is offering here to protect you. Yes, protect you. And I'm air quoting, it thinks it's protecting you by offering you a narrative that can feel better than the truth. But the truth is, rarely do we actually know the truth. Even if they have told us point blank, we will still never actually know their thoughts. And from what I've experienced with couples, many who are and have been struggling with compulsive sexual behaviors and any other compulsivity, they don't even know their own thoughts and feelings. Hence the need to numb out and act out. So this is going to be a shorter one today, but I just hear this. I see this statement show up often enough that I wanted to share my thoughts about it in hopes that Those of you who have thought this or believe this can decide if this thought is serving you or not. So let's just start right there. When you think he didn't fight for me or our family, what do you feel? Hurt, betrayed, sad, grief, rejected, all of it? Okay, now with no emotions being good or bad or right or wrong, just information, let's get curious about these emotions that are showing up. So let's be even more clear with the self here. Drop into the body and bring awareness to the physical body as you think the thought, he didn't fight for me or our family. What do you notice happening in your body when you think that? Is there something happening in your chest, in your stomach, your head, your shoulders? Notice when I think you didn't fight for me or our family, you weren't worth fighting for. What shows up in your body? Now hold on to that sensation and drop even further in as if you can see the energy that that feeling is creating. Is that energy spinning? Is it hard, solid like a rock, sharp, stabby, fast, slow? If that energy had a color, what color would it have? Really go into the body. We want to see how this is showing up physiologically. This is how we get more awareness and connected with the self. This is actually really healing and healthy and learning how to trust the self, trust your body. This helps you bring yourself out of a trauma response as you connect with what's happening in the body. So it's worth taking some time here to recognize the sensation that might be showing up. Okay, now take a deep breath and imagine more space in the body around that energy source. So if that energy was showing up in your chest, in your shoulders, in your stomach, right, in your hands, I want you to just take a deep breath and imagine more space around it. Just inhale, make that space, and exhale and hold the space there. Allowing that energy to be there, allowing that emotion to be there, giving it permission to be there. And remember, your body is the container for these emotions. So these are not outside of you, hurting you. Just take a deep breath and let them be there. Now, with this thought, he didn't fight for me, and this sensation showing up in the body, what emotion matches that sensation best? And if you can, pull up the feelings wheel, feelingswheel.com, and more clearly identify this part. The link is in the show notes. Or if you're walking, driving, I'm going to offer a few to consider. And if none of these resonate, then when you do have time to pull up that feelings wheel, check it out. But notice and trust yourself enough to know that when you hear the emotion and you match it to the part, the sensation in your body, and there's no right or wrong, just trust yourself that you'll know. Resentful, humiliated, disrespected, mad, bitter, betrayed, embarrassed, disappointed, hurt, ashamed, despair, abandoned, rejected. Those are just a few that might be showing up. And which one stands out the most for you in that energy source, in that sensation in the body? Now it's hello, and then name the emotion. Hello, abandoned. Hello, bitter. I see that you're here. Of course you're here. Of course, this part of you, this emotion is showing up when you think he didn't fight for me. We weren't worth fighting for. Now, when you think and feel this, what then do you see yourself doing or not doing? What is the action or inaction that's showing up as a result of the emotion. Remember, we act based on what we feel, right? Your emotions create your actions and then gives you the results in your life. So let's just get curious. When you feel abandoned because you think he didn't fight for me, do you then close off to everyone around you? Become inauthentic, stay away from vulnerability because you're never going to be abandoned again? Or perhaps if you feel bitter, right? So I feel bitter when I think he didn't fight for me. And now you're showing up in actions bitter to everything, about everything he does and doesn't do. You're angry if he picks up the kids early, if he picks them up late, if he comes to the parent teacher conference, or if he doesn't come to the parent teacher conference. It doesn't matter. You're just bitter about all of it. That's the actions. Now, when you see your action or inaction, what is that result that you're getting in your life by showing up that way? And let any self judgment or shame or blame just sit over on the other side of the room. Well, we're just getting curious about this right now. We're not trying to, we really want to separate that judgment, drop into just that curiosity. Because maybe the results are you're isolating and shutting everyone out. So now you're not getting help. You're doing everything on your own and you're about to break. Maybe the results are that you hate every man known to man, and therefore you're shutting out every possibility of having another relationship, which deep down you do want, but hell no, because you're bitter and he didn't fight for us. Okay, you get the idea. Now, all I want you to do here is be aware. Just be aware of how this thought is impacting you, because this is your thought. And it is just a thought. You don't have to think this. You totally can. And if you like the result right now, awesome, own it. Step into power and choose it. I really want to help you. Part of having an empowered divorce is not letting this other person in your life hold all the power. And when we believe that what they think or what they did is somehow forcing us to think and feel a certain way, we have become powerless in that situation, right? And that's why our agency, the source of our power, lies in our ability to think. So we want to see, what is it that we're actually choosing to think, and do I want to choose this thought? I also want to offer another way to perhaps to choose to think, if our natural man or our ego, whatever you want to call it, if that is wounded and never really had a healthy reflection of love and acceptance, worth and value, then we will always be looking for ways to self-protect that fragile ego. And there's lots of different ways that us as humans show up that way. So if we're afraid of abandonment and rejection and hurt, then we often will look to something outside of ourselves to make us feel better. And if we can blame someone else for our wounded ego, then that feels better. Believe that more times than not, the partner who, quote, didn't fight couldn't. Now, I am not in any way trying to invoke pity or even compassion here for this other person. But the reason people hurt people is because they themselves are hurt inside. Men who abuse, betray, have compulsive addictive behaviors are doing so because they're hiding from their own selves. They can't see into themselves. They have not chosen to fight for themselves. They don't fight for their emotional health, their mental health, their higher selves. So this isn't about you. This isn't about you not being worth fighting for. Of course, you're of worth and value, and nothing you do changes that. You're just seeing your worth and value based on the actions, or in this case, inactions of another. What they do or don't do is what makes you lovable? No. And look, logically, this might make sense to you. And you might even be thinking like, yeah, I know this. Yet you're believing that he didn't fight for you and he should have. He didn't for a number of reasons. He couldn't. Addicts are not in choice, right? They don't access their full power because they have given it to the addiction. Abusers don't access their full power because they're busy gaining power over another. And narcissists are not in choice because they don't see choice. They only what they believe is right and wrong, and no other choice exists. So they are not fighting for themselves to be healthy and free. That's why they are not choosing to be in a healthy relationship freely with you. But this does not mean that you are anything less because of it. Now, again, going back to this thought, you can totally choose to think it. You can totally choose to think that he did not fight for me and our family, and feel and do and accept the results that this thought is giving you. It's okay. What I want you to do is own it if this is what you're choosing. And that alone will give you a shift. That alone puts you back in power because you get to think whatever you want. And if you like the result right now that you're getting from thinking this, own it. What having an empowered divorce, again, is owning and choosing our thoughts. And if you believe this is serving you right now, hold on to it. But what I want to encourage you not to do is believe that you have to think this or that this thought has to be true, right? That is a very disempowering place. Or you can take yourself, or you can choose to think something different. Like perhaps he didn't fight for himself. And so I chose to fight for myself, for my healthy, for my freedom, and for my choice. The longer we are making his choices mean something about us, something about what we're worth, what we can or cannot do, we are giving them power over the results of our life. Be the creator in your life and know that you can create the experience you want by being the chooser in your life. All right, everyone, I hope that helps make a little bit of a shift. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time.